Good morning. Public Services and Facilities Committee meeting, 9 a.m., Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that the press and the public have been duly notified in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. Good morning.
Morning.
Let's see, the citizens' comments, I don't believe we have any.
No.
Approval of the previous meeting minutes. Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. All in
Aye.
favor? Excuse me. Marine attendants comments, I don't see anybody else here. No presentations. Old business, Waterway Boulevard project is moving along.
Yep,
Lovely.
yep, I'll give a quick update and Robert can fill in any gaps that I leave, but that project is moving along well. They are still, they have the utility subcontractor in place now. They're getting all of the water and sewer conflicts out of the way to prepare for the stormwater infrastructure to go in right behind that. They have completed the conflicts and the stormwater infrastructure at 23rd Avenue. They will be moving up to 30th and 32nd are the next locations they're gonna kind of be running it. And I think they're already doing the.
30th, they've completed one of the conflicts.
And then 32nd
Yeah,
is.
then they're gonna move to 32nd.
So, that's working well. We do have a little bit of an issue of standing water still next to the infrastructure that we just placed at 23rd. We're trying to see, and I think the engineers were aware of that. It's you know, at the end of the day, they do keep reminding us that it was a path widening project and a flood barrier project. It was not to fix every kind of bird bath in the pavement along Waterway during the process. It's going to be considerably better in every regard, but we're trying, and Robert and his staff are also trying to kind of improve that system as we move down. So we're actively working on that. Robert and I have meetings today with Thomas and Hutton this afternoon to try to button up some of those things. Paving, I think, will start today or as soon as things dry up.
Yes, all the equipment is on site for them to start. They're just waiting for the cart path to dry, and then they can start paving. And what he told me is they would start and just keep rolling through 21st all the way to where they are right now, 30th. So there wouldn't be stopping in between. They would just keep
So
paving
kind of
straight.
two different paving sessions, one between 21st and 30th that we would do now, and then I
Right.
guess a second from 30th to 41st.
Yeah, because they're still excavating at 30th and moving their way towards 41st.
Just kind of remind me, what's the foundation underneath the, I mean, what's going to be?
Under the
Under the
asphalt,
asphalt, yeah.
it's ROC, it's compacted gravel, and ROC is the term.
Yeah, and it's rolled.
Yeah.
And this rain was actually good for it, so.
So let it settle.
Pack it down.
Yeah,
The other thing that Robert is working through with the contractor and Thomas and Hutton is Robert's fearful that with that they have on their schedule sod to go in immediately as they finish the asphalt. There's a concern that if it goes in right before the heat of summer without proper irrigation, it has a very low probability of surviving. So we're trying to see if that sod is also necessary to stabilize the soil. So our county stormwater permits require that we stabilize that soil before we can close the project out. So we're trying to see if there's a way that we could delay on the sod to get to a more favorable growing condition, but at the same time comply with the stormwater requirements to stabilize the area. So that's another thing we're working on. Anything else?
no, it's been going good, and they're moving now, so hopefully get this thing.
How's
Yeah.
it going with the residents along the way, or everything?
Yeah, we haven't heard really any complaints, to be honest with you. You know, like the one thing we're just working through, this little bird bath that is down on 23rd. Outside of that, I haven't really heard anything.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thanks. Next is the beach projects.
So I think since you all last met, we now have an executed contract with Marinex for the entire project. We have state permits, and we just, as of yesterday, received the federal permit. So all the puzzle pieces are in place at this point, and we are looking very good to start kind of any day now. I think we will start seeing equipment showing up at the site offshore. We had a good Sean and Joshua and the Marinex team and the CSE team had a good just pre-construction meeting physically on the site. They drove the entire stretch of beach, trying to kind of pin down details in terms of drop locations for equipment, access on and off, parking during the project. A little bit more coordination on the scheduling of exactly where the pipe will initially come in, the directions that they'll go, how the project will progress. Joshua has a keen interest on kind of figuring out the schedule based on Marinex's reported schedule, and then our plan is to build out a map that will show as the project progresses. You know, they're here now. Yeah, these are some of the things in progress. So we are going to take each one of those, and correct me, Joshua, if I'm wrong, but going to take each one of those polygons and divide it up into the surveying stations, which are kind of 100-foot increments. And as Joshua's explained it to me, it would be like a buffering bar that you would see it, kind of moving
Where
up.
it is, yeah.
Yep, this is where it is. You can see, the rate at which they're coming. So our hope is that if you're, in the public and you're interested in Portical, that you'll be able to kind of see the progress coming towards you, and we'll have information about how quickly it's actually coming, so we can have better estimates of when the project will be in front of each.
Will there be kind of a rolling schedule on the website that says, hey, these are the dates that you can anticipate it being here or there?
Yes.
Kind of the forward, well, that looks like it's going to be, this is where it is, kind of a thing. But just to give everybody aware that, they might expect to see their portion be renourished in 2 weeks or 2 months or 5
Yes.
months.
Yeah, that is our
The
goal,
whole
is to,
schedule.
once we know, and we've talked a little bit with Marinex about, so we're gonna have the quantity of every 100-foot slice there, and then we're gonna have the dredger's quantity per day. And our hope is that we can basically
Stuff
build a
like that.
formula that will predict where it will be, pretty close to when it will be there. They're giving us, rough orders of magnitude of timing switching between these two reaches. They're saying that's 2 days, then they're saying that it's 5 days to go from these two reaches to the south end. So we're working all that into the schedule and trying to come up with a somewhat predictable model that will let people know where and when. They are, just for the benefit of this group, the current plan is for them to start, and my eyes are not great, but there's a tractor, I think, at the south end of the, so that tractor is gonna go from that point north first, and then it will come back to the area just south of the tractor, and then go from that point south. And then they will take 5 days or so, and then bring, I think, and Joshua, I can't remember the latest, that it's gonna come in somewhere in the middle,
Yep.
kind of in the middle of that stretch, and then I think initially run from the middle north, and then come back to the middle, and then run from the middle south. So that's the plan, but again, we're trying to kind of build out a public information portal that will let people know, as soon as we know when scheduling is fouled up or something happens, that we'll be able to adjust this a little bit on the fly.
In broad strokes, Douglas, do we know if this is a June to September, June to October, June to August, or kind of a?
So they're clearly going to be mobilizing in June. When we press them on, and for us, I mean, there is a budgetary impact on the fiscal year. We pay, I think it's 40% of the mobilization when the first sand arrives. So it's going to split, it could potentially split fiscal years. So we've really pressed them on, do you think that we will have an invoice before the end of June, which is code for will sand arrive in June? And they've indicated that they think it is very unlikely. So our new best guess is it will be very early July before sand actually starts arriving. And then I think on the tail end, Sean, have we said, I know it's is it the end of September?
November, I think.
In November
End of
Like if
November.
everything
Okay.
goes according to plan and.
would be end of November? November-ish,
Sometime in November.
sometime in November.
To be like done and
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Is the city doing anything else? Like, I know a lot of times we've done, like, are we doing the dune, like the fencing or the vegetation?
Yes, so kind of outstanding things that are on our to-do list, and one is pretty immediate, is sandbag removal is on us. And then dune vegetation and/or fencing, if we choose to do some, will also be on us. So that was, if you remember, I think there was an additional 900,000 in the budget to cover those kind of incidental, well, they're not incidental, but those other costs that are outside of the Marinex contract, and those are the kind of bigger ticket items. And sandbags, we were hopeful that there would be a little bit of an ability to leave bags while the sand was being placed in front of a property, so that we knew they would be fully protected throughout the project. But in the state's requirement, in their permit is a requirement that the bags be pulled up 15 days prior to any sand arriving. So
In front of their house.
that's correct. Yes. So Ocean Club, we'd have to pull those bags out at least 15 days prior to any sand going in front of Ocean Club. We are talking kind of among the staff about, could we, if we see something imminent, can we get at least some protective sand in place? And I think they're going to be reasonable about working with us on that. But that has the sandbag removal accelerated for us. So
We
we're-
are prepared for that. I mean, we have the
Yes.
manpower and the equipment and everything.
To remove the
to get rid of them.
sandbags?
Yes.
No, we have to, we need to get bids and get that before council to have that
Oh.
done. That's not, we'll contract that work out.
So where's the first sandbags that have to go?
Seascape. So if you look at that map,
So there's not any until you get to Seascape.
that's correct.
So we need to get on that.
Yeah, so that's on our short list of things to get ready.
I'll just throw this out, and I don't know what you all think about it, Kate or Douglas, anybody. Do you think it's worthwhile that maybe towards the end of the month, or before they start laying down sand, have Steve or somebody to come in and do a presentation kind of on the overall, here's what the project plan looks like, here's who looks like they're going to be impacted now and when? Just some kind of I don't know if it's a half hour, 45-minute.
At council?
Yeah, either at council or, I don't know that we need to do a rec center, kind of a thing, but this is a major project it's the biggest project the city's ever done, I think. That's going to impact the coastline at both ends for a 5-month period, which impacts, the property owners, the renters, the locals, the Mount Pleasant, anybody that's coming to the beach. Then at least something's on the video somewhere that could be posted that people can reference, so that they've got some kind of and subject to change, obviously,
Yeah.
but, there's a communication vehicle that's not something here at this committee, which, hardly anybody's gonna see.
Right.
But then you've got a package and a presentation where we're representing, hey, this is our best known with our, Miranex, and this is what we're doing. I think it might be helpful. I'm just throwing it out as an idea. Doesn't
Well,
have to be,
so I-
doesn't
yeah.
have to be a big production, but, just some, I don't know.
So I will say, and I think that's a great idea, and I'm sure Stephen would be willing to.
Joshua's great tools that he could show us, which would be fantastic to advertise.
Joshua and we just watched a draft of a video this morning, but our intention is to kind of, not to say flood social media, but to put it out as widely as we can, build the tools that will be, at everybody's disposal as they need them, and then publicize the availability of those tools. So we have really focused on doing it electronically, which we'll do, but to bolster that, I think it'd be a great idea to have Stephen, just go through all of this type of stuff, because it has been, until we really had Miranex under contract, it was a little bit awkward to ask them for firm schedules when they're not under contract yet. So now that they're there, I mean, we're engaged on a lot of the details that we're getting worked through at this point, so.
And I think the video and all that's great, but that's kind of a PR kind of
Yeah.
event, and media, this kind of a forum might give an opportunity for either council or some others to submit or ask questions, so
Yeah.
that they're, I think everybody's good key question is, how's it gonna affect me?
Yep,
And maybe we can at least address, you can't address that in a PR campaign.
yeah.
I don't know, what do you think, Katie?
Yeah, I mean,
So would
Next meeting.
special presentation at
When's our-
council, if that works for Stephen and,
either then or at the, the workshop, whatever we're calling it.
Both ways means,
I
that
mean-
might be too soon, that's next
Is
week.
that too
yeah.
soon?
Or the following month, I mean, I don't know, whatever, just something before the sand starts hitting the beach.
so I think, I mean, that council would be, I think at council, and that's gonna be at the end of the month, there literally should be kind of pipes halfway in the
Pretty
ground
good
at that
timing,
point.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that will be when we're really seeing, if we're seeing things physically show up and happen, so I think that would be a great
I
time.
think we're doing a budget hearing that doesn't last very long. I don't know if we do it in council meeting or a special meeting, however you all
Yeah, there's
think
a-
is the best way to do it, but we could sort of pack that evening and
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah, let us just verify that folks are available, and I think we can make that happen.
Sounds good.
And one other question on the beach.
Miss anything from social media kind of blitz?
One more question on the beach stuff. Is any update on the cleanup, on what's going on? the south
Yes,
end?
so we had a call from the Army Corps, I think it was Thursday afternoon, and we were expecting them to show up last week.
Yeah.
That we got a call that the pricing came in higher than they had anticipated, that they felt that they were certain that it would be an amount that they could authorize, but it was higher than they had budgeted. So they're having an internal process to approve that dollar amount. And this is part of the thing with the Army Corps is we talked to Jacob, who's a project manager, but he's not in the procurement side of things, so it kind of leaves his shop and goes to a different shop. So he can't give me any firm dates as to when the dollar amount will be approved, but he felt like it was going to be approved and it wouldn't be too terribly long. So like a lot of things with the Army Corps, it's a little squishy on details, but they did tell us that it was not going to happen according to their initial schedule.
So we talking weeks or months or don't know?
I think weeks. I think a couple of weeks.
Okay. I'm just reiterate, I don't know how it's gonna stop regurgitating up without kind of cleaning up the dump site that's below the low tide line. And I don't know if anybody's even assessed what that is or how big it is. But that was kind of created during the 3 or 4 weeks when they were literally picking the stuff up and moving it to the low, below the low tide line. But, I'll just throw it out there. They might want to take a look at that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that far out, but they might just, either that or we're just gonna end up burying it with good sand.
Yeah, we have reiterated, and I do think that they wait until the absolute lowest of tides. I mean, and I think that was this past week why it made sense to get it when the tides were at their absolute lowest, to allow them to get out as far as they can. But, I mean, there is a lot of stuff that is above the, that clearly was placed above the high tide, above the low tide line that's accessible.
Yeah, it's both, yeah. Okay.
All right, next is marina parking lot lease amendments.
Yeah, so I'll
Think
just,
we're
just
coming
a
along.
Yep, quick update on that. We have had a little bit of a sticking point on, and it's an understandable sticking point on the tenant has a very firm construction window that it's important to them that is maintained, and that's January to February. And we have spent a lot of detail and a lot of attention on how to meet that construction deadline. As we talked about at our last meeting, there are liquidated damages now that we didn't have in the original draft that are in our newest draft, the way they're drafted currently. And we requested that they be reduced. I think they were at 5,000 a day, down to 1,000 a day. The tenants are agreeable to that for 1 month. So they're agreeing to a lower liquidated damages amount for a month. But then after a month, those liquidated damages go up to $8,000 a day.
I thought it was three, the original was three.
Maybe it was 3, yeah. So it's gone down from 3 to 1 for a month, but then after a month, they go up to 8. Because we really would be getting into their impactful season. So from the city's perspective, we've had conversations with contractors. I think we feel confident that two is going to be enough. If we had an additional month, there should not be any way that we go into a 4th month. So I think we're comfortable with that arrangement of liquidated damages. In all of this, and it's a little bit of a different issue, but it became apparent and it may have been my misunderstanding that I was always under the impression that if we couldn't get the work done, that there was the ability to pause. That because we have a ton of work to do between now and breaking ground January 1. Has not been designed. Obviously, it has to be designed, bids solicited, contractors chosen. Contractor has to have probably 30 days of equipment, scheduling, ordering equipment. So a lot of pieces have to fall into place for us to really be in a good place to break ground January 1st. I was under the impression that there was always a bit of an off-ramp, that if something happened and the permitting could potentially be in there as well. So a lot of things have to happen between now and January 1. So we've gone back to them and and requested that there be an off-ramp provision added, that if things are not lining up to be able to meet that deadline, that you'll allow the city to pause or stop on the project without any issue, which they're agreeable to. But this is an issue that's put it back to our attorneys to iron that out and get the agreement into a place that we can execute it. So we're doing that. We're hopeful that will happen in the next few days. That all kind of came to a head, I think, Thursday or Friday of last week. So the attorneys are working on that early this week. With any luck, that'll get ironed out this week, and our next step is to get Klein engaged and started on the design. So that's moving ahead, but a little bit of detail to iron out.
All right, sounds good. Sticking with the marina, we have the dredging project, work schedule. Scheduling to be starting.
Yeah, I think that, and Sean, I think we're kind of in just a little bit of a holding pattern for Philip and the Army Corps.
Philip reported that the Corps is currently processing the permit. This is as of Friday, and that the bathymetric survey is complete, and we're just waiting on the engineering firm that did it to provide the report back to us.
Yeah, so that's another one that we have on, and we'll see if that we have that in our budget and our work plan for this winter. It's like a lot of things, moving somewhat slowly, but we're
Still hoping to
still
get it done
hopeful.
this winter.
Yeah.
All right, discussion of IT costs, is that something that got postponed, or is that?
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that, Scott. I don't know if you have anything to add. I would just say that we have, and Scott's going to sit with us to talk with VC3. We're supposed to do that, I think, in the next couple of days, but our representative has had a health issue pop up, so we're trying to reschedule that. So not a lot from our end to report, other than we're having dialogue with VC3. I know that they want to be that contract with VC3 is a big part of our, big part of these IT expenses. And I know they want to continue being our vendor, but I think we'd want to talk to them about how we could potentially restructure that agreement. I think we're hoping Scott can be helpful in that regard.
Can I, just on the schedule here, and I was gonna, and I think that's great, if we can get together with them. A lot of it, I think, is just to also see what the scope, if you look at this schedule, I don't know, we've got probably, 50 vendors on here supplying various and sundry items. And I think we talked about this a couple of months ago about, I think it would be helpful to take that, see where it says to record the GASB 96, that's a non-cash expenditure. We were going to either take that out or put it below the line, just because what that does
Oh,
is
yeah.
that adds, that
50,000.
652 is actually more like 700,000. The second thing is I don't know if there's a way to maybe even take a look at this and update it for the most recent procurements that we've done for the, like the police platform that we're doing, and I think we did another fire item.
Civic Eye.
Yeah, and I think these are, these can be identified as prospective. But I'd like this to also be, and we can put draft on it, but be brought to the Ways and Means, because I think we are talking about a couple of things, and it's traversing multiple committees, is if we're going to embark on this $1 million target for either, revenue assurance and maybe cost opportunities, I think this schedule would be kind of an idea of, at least one idea of how we can kind of format different categories to see, hey, where's the money going, who's providing it, and do we have consolidation opportunities? And I think in the admin, we're also looking at the procurement code, which will probably bubble up eventually. And, my recommendation would be that these kinds of services go out to bid and they don't remain in the exclusion category, because these are, that was probably fine 15, 20 years ago, but the velocity with which the technology changes and the cost curve is getting pounded down. I think we're potentially missing some opportunities. So bottom line, maybe add anything current to this, and then just take that one thing out, and then we can bring it to the Ways and Means, and we can talk about the rest of it later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the one with the fire department? We'll look at that. I'm not recalling a fire department, it's a new fire department IT?
I think we just
Civic-
approved the
The Civic Eye for
yeah,
police.
for police. And
Is
I
there
don't know what we
another-
had there was some additional, I thought there was some other IT stuff. There was like a $70,000 item, maybe it was the same thing in the fire department or whatever, but I could be
Okay,
mistaken
let
on
me
that
look
one.
on fire. So add those
And
kind
it-
of just approved, take off the
That
GASB
fif- yeah,
96.
the non-cash item. And I think that would be it. And it might be good to just know, if we add up all the IT categories in the 27 fiscal budget, I think it's close to 800, and when I say IT and telecom, I think we're in that $800,000 range. It's bumping up still. So I think, we got some opportunity here to take a look at.
Okay,
Good.
yep.
All right, I think this brings us to departmental reports.
Both departments after and this kind of goes for all of the committees. So there's a challenge with getting, with these committees that are the first Tuesday, there's a challenge in getting monthly reports from the month that just ended, I guess, Saturday or Sunday,
Saturday.
into the packets for this month. So,
It's probably okay if they're a month in arrears.
yeah, so
Yeah.
and this is a little bit of a new formatting thing. These used to be at the workshop. We've moved them forward in timing, so what we're planning to do is have these all in the council packet. And then, so you'll have them pretty close to when you used to have them, but then put them in each subcommittee's agenda just for, if there's any points of discussion that came up in that. So they are a month in arrears, but happy to go through in any detail that anybody
Would it be
wants.
okay just to have it, and not to go into the detail, but maybe just a 5-minute reorientation on your packets on what's in them so that we can just maybe look at them a little more? And anything that pops out that is there anything that is of a concern or opportunity that you see in your reports that might be something we can help you with?
Carrie, I don't know I know yours seems to have very timely information, and I don't know if it being a month in arrears works against you in any way in terms of publicizing upcoming, because it seems like there's a lot of stuff
We do have a big
that's,
section in there about what's upcoming.
so that's
just
always
to
gonna be a
kind of
little
You guys
dated.
know when people ask questions about
That's great.
events that will be coming up. So for me, a month back, for your guys' knowledge,
Is
hinders
it
us a little bit, but
on the upcoming.
on the upcoming.
So could you potentially
Is it
add
that-
the upcoming,
For like the following
yeah,
month.
to kind of
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
forward
Yeah,
2
like
months?
2 months
Yeah,
ahead or
2
something.
months ahead, yes.
So
Yeah.
then a month arrears report would have the upcoming
Correct.
month stuff.
We'd have basically what just happened
Yeah.
and what's about to
Yes.
happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think, candidly, we've all kind of skirted over these for a while.
Yeah.
And if there's something in here that's of interest or that you need help with, this would be a good forum to maybe do that.
So we'll put that as a, just reorientate, so on, new business next month, kind of a reorientation of monthly reports and,
At
We'll do
this
that for
point,
you.
is there anything that you guys, no?
If you have questions about
Yeah.
what's in there.
I mean, everything for me has been trending the same way, sanitation, yard debris. If you just get to drainage, it spikes just with the work we're doing with the multi-use path, so everything. And then just a lot of maintenance items that you'll see in these boxes here, but
How's the importing coming? We're still getting a lot of imports,
as far as
debris.
with debris, we seem to be, we are looking at those more, but we still don't currently have an ordinance to enforce that.
yeah,
So-
I think Robert would, not gonna speak for you, but I think you would like to revisit.
Yes.
And if you remember, and I think it was this committee that talked through a potential change in the ordinance that would not allow people to bring, debris over.
It's amazing that we'd have to have an ordinance for that. Seriously,
It's
Yeah,
pretty-
because that's showing up in
pretty
our,
bad.
we're paying for it.
And just so you know, we are the only municipality, and I've done research on this, that does not have an ordinance for contractors' generated debris. I mean, I've gone through multiple towns and their ordinances, and something we have to get a hold on,
And we do
because,
need, we need to,
Yeah.
we started that and then,
yes.
I
and
feel like we've had 2 false starts on that, or is it just one?
I know I was here for one of them, and I do have all that information from when we went through that exercise. So we can revisit it the way it was basically written, it's all there.
Well, how would you do it? Is that how you would do it?
Yeah, I think the way we did it, and it explains, and it came from Desiree at that time, explains why we're doing it, the cost that it is for the city, the distance we have to go to dump this, and that's why it's advantageous for a contractor to dump it on our streets or leave it behind, because we have to go to Beast Ferry with all these trucks, and then that directly impacts the maintenance on these vehicles, the cost, labor costs go back and forth. So, like I said, the Public Works Department knows who leaves what out. My guys are really good at that, so it's not gonna discredit any homeowner from doing it. We can tell a homeowner's pile versus a contractor's pile. So,
Well, should we have this new business next month?
Yeah.
we can
let's-
add it,
yeah,
I have all
let's
the
do that.
information, yeah.
Let's-
Yes, yeah, there's absolutely no reason why we should be paying for other municipalities'
think-
trash like
and-
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it's kind of two things.
It's two separate things,
It's
it's,
contractors, so
And
if
the
you were to.
trash that they develop on this island
Yeah,
versus.
that's kind of one item.
also
That-
just-
That right now, if you're a landscaper or tree guy, you can kind of just put a mountain out in front of your
Yeah.
house. But that also makes it very if that's allowed, it makes it very challenging when somebody comes over and let's just say they remove a shrub from your yard, they put it in there, and then they put an enormous load out and say, this is Katie's shrub, this came from Katie's yard. So
Yeah, the
it's kinda
landscapers,
two-
they'd go do some other,
Right.
and then
Right.
their last job is Isle of
right.
Box.
That's right.
Right, so I mean, we've
So it's
had.
kinda
That's just
tied
too,
together.
it's too
Right.
enticing
Yeah,
to do
it's too
that.
tempting to
Yeah, and
not.
I don't, you know, and I don't think you're gonna catch everybody, but if you can reduce the
It's a deterrent.
volume
Right.
that comes off the island, then we'll be just in a better place.
And that was the challenge last time, was the,
Enforceability.
well, and the example was made is that if, if I as a resident hire a contractor, I want to be able to leave, I want my contractor to be able to leave the stuff generated from my yard in front of my house, just like I did. So that was the tricky part, that they're kind of tied at the hip from an enforceability issue, so.
But I see contractors all the time on the island, they're doing tree work or whatever, they've got their buzzes, their debris.
Chippers.
Chippers,
Yeah.
and they're, a lot of them take their own.
Yes, yeah,
But,
some,
yeah. But
I think a
they're-
lot of owners are saying, I do not want a mountain in front of my
Right.
property, take it away, but others, or they'll find they chip it up somewhere and then they kind of find a vacant area that nobody will
right.
notice that, or complain about, they don't think, so they'll
Right.
put it out.
Like
And we
the
have a lot
Forest
of
Trail
good
Islands.
contracts.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
islands.
well,
Which
that's
is,
where we
which goes
just,
to another issue of
Yes.
people dumping where they shouldn't be. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
once
just
it
a lot of.
starts, yeah.
yeah, so I mean, we just had an issue on Sparrow where it was clearly old vegetation at the bottom. We couldn't prove it, new vegetation up top. So whether it was dumped there, I'm not sure. We went to the police department, code enforcement to go out and just kind of talk to the resident there. Supposedly it came from that property, but that took a whole garbage truck to fill up. We had to send a garbage truck down there and the cat loader to get rid of this pile, so.
Just curious, if you had a ballpark the cost on, I mean, you got labor, you got equipment, you've got hauling, you've got fuel, you've got time, you've got the fees that we're paying.
Yeah. I mean, I've done rough math, so my math isn't great. But to send one of our full dump trucks down to Bees Ferry could be anywhere with drivers, and I didn't count in insurance on the vehicles, this and that, just basic labor rates, fuel, anywhere from $55 to $70 to go to the landfill and then come back just in time wise, depending on traffic too. Sometimes they could get
You're
stuck in
saying a couple
traffic.
hours of traffic.
Yeah.
So
So
you
And then we
Nothing
pay for the
else on
landfill too.
we pay I think we pay the user fee on the
Yeah.
landfill.
But
Those
that's
two
in,
always
that's
get-
in that rate.
Yeah, that's
You-
all in that, yeah. So, I mean, not tremendous, but when you're running,
It adds up.
you know,
Yeah.
And it's more, I mean, from, a large part of it is it's a asset that he doesn't have to do
Right.
all the
You
other
got
work that they
opportunity
have
costs,
to.
yeah.
right, and that's where it boils.
You got a guy and a truck and your equipment bound up for half
Right,
a
and that's
day
where-
to deal with somebody
Where I
else.
saw it the other way is that if we're picking up a contractor's pile, we are not getting to a resident.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because we're stuck there. Like
Oh.
that was all morning. I won't say all morning, but a good portion of the morning because the garbage truck had to go there. Separate trip with the machine, load the thing up, went to the landfill, and then they could start their,
What's round trip on that? Just curious. Ballpark.
almost about 2 hours.
I mean, mileage.
Oh, mileage, I would have to look. So it's
How
rural
much landfill
west.
wouldn't be?
Probably 20 miles each way.
So you're looking
Yeah.
My
at
house
40,
is
40,
50.
50 mile round trip?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's-
Wow.
There's no reason for, again, every other city has figured out
Right.
that if you let people do this,
Like I said, we know.
give them an
we-
inch.
We know which residents leave what. We're looking at the big stuff that is dropped here that we see come in on a Saturday and that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll put that on your next.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can get all that information.
All right.
And if you even got the ordinance in the draft.
Yeah, I do.
okay, let's try to run it through.
Okay.
All right, last thing is, a request for volleyball court, a beach volleyball court at the recreation center, and I believe this is something that's,
So in the
I'll let you take
schedule,
this
yeah,
on.
we hear about it. I haven't heard about it in quite a few years. It's been in the schedule. I think it's in the plan for FY '29.
anyway, we can bump that up.
It's up to you all.
We happen to
I
have
mean-
a very cheap source of sand.
I
We get that thing
would,
like.
I would like a little bit of time because I don't really know where to put it.
That's what that was gonna be my
But putting
question.
it in a place that makes sense is obviously the number
Important.
one concern. I don't
Right.
want it by the side of the road. You don't want kids running in the road to run after balls. You don't want it under trees for maintenance purposes. So I would ask for a little bit of time to kind of look and see where we're actually using all of our baseball fields and soccer fields and kind of what makes sense for
Carrie, talk-
placement. Oh, for
talk.
placement. Before we just say, let's build it and they will come.
Okay,
Any guess on cost? I mean, it's not in this
I
year's-
don't think that I've even priced it out.
Maybe, shouldn't that be
But-
that expensive, but less than 20,000? Do you think it's in, and I guess the concern is we have a budget that's been given first reading, it's not in that budget. 20,000-ish? Would that be your guess?
I'm being told we can get volunteer help if that's something that is of interest.
Is there that big of a demand for it? Why not set up a volleyball court at the beach?
Well,
I mean, can
Well, I
we do-
think,
can we do that?
I mean, there's a
and so
couple
I
of
think that's kind
reasons.
of why the conversation, in my opinion, has kind of died down over the years because Windjammer did have
but that's
so
gone
many
now.
courts on the beach, which obviously the beach is ever changing. I think for the adults that play beach, all the courts that they have at Santee's and the Lights has taken a lot of the adult conversation for beach volleyball. So,
Yeah, I think the issue is that
but now
The
locally,
Windjammer-
right,
the Windjammer used to have a
Correct.
volleyball court, which is where the stage is now, so that's, they don't have that anymore.
right,
And I think the ones on the beach are not
being kept or,
good enough, yeah.
Right.
They're more for just people
Kids
playing
doing that.
around, not like serious beach volleyball. And I guess, and there's, and the Santee's, and then I think I heard the Santee's one is maybe going away or something's
not
happening
sure.
with that. I don't know.
I know
There's-
at night they're packed and they have
Yeah.
lights.
And then there's that one other person's house, but I don't think
Yeah.
that's being utilized anymore. I don't know.
Oh, it
So-
is. They
Oh,
were,
is it?
yeah,
Okay.
they're out.
I just, I mean, I have one friend in particular that's very involved and his son is now playing it, so there's definitely more talk about it and a need and I think a desire, and, I mean, I know people used to play at the Windjammer all the time.
We had half a dozen beach volleyball courts in Park City at 7,200 feet elevation.
Yeah.
And they were packed all the time, yeah, for decades. Yeah.
I don't know if it's feasible or possible, but is it being on the beach a benefit or a detriment? If there was a way to put kind
there's
of
a
proper.
place on the
Probably
beach.
to beach volleyball, that's, yeah.
Is that the preferred method, or is that,
I don't think that really matters. I mean, I don't necessarily think that matters. I think if it was somehow maintained, it would probably be fine. I mean, I think having it at the rec just kind of,
makes sense?
yeah, it feels, Isle of Palms Rec Center having a beach volleyball court just kind of makes sense. But I was looking the other day too as to where it could go. I mean, I feel like next to that workout wall area, maybe, but there are some trees over there.
Lots of trees,
Yeah,
lots of big trees.
or at the very end of the
So.
baseball court, basketball. Yeah,
Right,
baseball.
but, and so depending on what athletic season we're in, those
Some they
fields
use
all
they use
turn
those for
into soccer fields or even youth baseball fields. So we need to make sure we can
Find a place.
continue with what we know that we have numbers for and how many
Right.
courts we need versus
Yeah.
what we don't know.
Right, right.
and how many people will use it. So, I mean, I think it would get used,
I was also thinking over on the far, like the far side of the playground.
the playground, and that's what would put you into the road for balls, which would be fencing.
I was gonna
So
say,
it just depends on if you want to
Yes.
continue adding
add a
fence.
fence.
But then that's the farmer's market area as well, and summer camp. I mean, yeah, we utilize about every inch that we've got in some way, shape, or form for some season, so.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason that I would say let's keep it in 29 to let us really look at a full season of what we got and where we could think that we could put it.
We could get into big money and cover your retention area
I was
with
thinking that.
stormwater vaults. I mean, it's, if you needed the area,
Okay.
then that would be
The
an
next-
engineering possibility to cover that area.
Okay.
You'd have to maintain the retention it's providing. But
It would
it would be it would be
be
a
an
thing.
area.
But if you were truly out of space and that would make or break.
Okay.
I wonder if that would be, that feels like that could be some sort of grant opportunity,
Potentially, yeah.
creating more recreation space and, I don't know,
Resident fundraising.
maybe improving drainage at the same time.
So,
It
but
would
we'll definitely look at it.
It would definitely
If we
improve
can
the
move it up
aesthetics of that.
and figure it out, then we will.
Okay, well, if
Yeah.
you can just kind of start looking into it,
Correct.
that would be great.
All right.
Cool.
So no budget impact. We're not gonna start getting into the
I
budget.
feel like, it sounds like we're not there yet.
Yeah, all right. So next steps on that, you want, put it on the next month's agenda, talk about location, talk about cost?
Yeah, we
Does that sound good?
The beach.
I mean, that is another thought, to find a good place on the beach. Somewhere
Maybe when
20,
we're looking at location, I mean, to me, we built a sidewalk down 28th. If it
I was
was-
gonna say 25th, 28th.
The private property extends to the mean high water line there, so we'd have to kind of look at how it was done and where it was done. I'm assuming it needs to be kind of on the
Soft sand.
soft sand.
Yeah.
Correct.
We do have a strip, we do have kind of a 50-foot strip, so we can, I don't know if it would be problematic to go, we'll look at it.
What's the dimension of a volleyball court?
I didn't bring that with me.
50 foot by 80 foot.
Good job. There you go.
That's 50 by 80?
We do have 50-foot wide strips, so we might be going
Look at
this
that.
way.
It's the out of bounds that you.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't, but we, I mean, if we have a 50-foot strip, the ball can go. As long as,
When
Right.
you're playing, you're always out of bounds.
right, but
Yeah,
that doesn't,
balls.
but we're talking, I think, I was imagining the 50-foot strip is for us to put some sort of
Oh, structure.
structure.
Yes,
People can go
yeah,
anywhere.
the side,
People and balls can go.
outside of that, you're still in,
Yeah.
your publicly
Right.
usable space, but it's technically owned by the adjacent owner.
I mean, if you did it on the beach, we're talking poles, net, and the strip,
Striping,
striping.
there's like
whatever.
tape.
Yeah, it's like a,
It's like a cord on the
Yeah.
beach typically
Yeah.
that would
What's
stake
the-
down.
What's to prohibit the rec center providing nets you sign out and people take them down to the beach and line out their own?
because those nets are just not, like that, that's like the
not
fun,
like a soccer net.
playful net, but like a real beach volleyball. No, like you have to have like a, you have to have
Like a
Like
post.
tension.
Post.
with
Tension.
posts.
Permanent
with-
post.
Yeah.
So I
Like
don't
it-
know the likelihood of BCM approving like a legit
Structure
posts down
in
in
the
the
ground.
ground. I'm thinking that the kind of inner tube, whatever that thing, a tire with concrete with a pipe out of it, I don't know if that,
Is this for recreation or for competition?
It's for, I mean, the thought is this is for more like legitimate beach volleyball, not like just playing. I mean, that's in front of the Windjammer, I think. Well, I don't know, what is,
They do,
They
they
have
used to do
posts.
both. They used to have a beach volleyball league at the Windjammer. I don't know if
Yeah.
they do or not anymore. I mean, if we were to put it on recreation ground, obviously we would leave it there for a while to see what the use is, but yeah, I would think the intent eventually would be if we could get a beach league or adult league, we would try, or a youth league,
Yeah.
we would try. One court's not gonna allow you to do any tournaments or anything.
Over 55.
We can definitely do an over 55 league.
those old
We
folks
just
now?
trying to tell that adult.
The adult, yeah.
Adult.
Or the- I'll accept
The advanced
Adult,
adult.
right.
Advanced.
Adult plus. I mean, we would let it see what it would do
Right.
first, but eventually I would think if it was on our grounds, we would try to utilize it the best we
League,
could
yeah.
and start having leagues.
Yeah.
So let us give it some thought,
Yeah.
location, price, and we'll put it on next month's agenda.
Okay. Thanks. I think that's all. Is that all?
That's it.
Next meeting?
July, what is it, Nicole? July 7th?
It's there on the agenda. on the left. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not public safety, I already switched over to. Yes, July
You're already
7th.
done with
July
us.
7th at
Yeah,
9 a.m.
9 a.m. All right, no further business, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Off the record. 9:51. All right.